Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week I take a look at the real estate market in Central Florida, specifically the Villages. The Villages is a 55 plus community with 43 executive golf courses and 13 and counting championship courses, live music in 3 locations every night of the week, recreation, shopping, dining, entertainment, pickleball, you name it. But if you want to know what long-term trends here are on prices, if you want to know the differences between the different regions of the villages, which areas are more expensive, which areas are seeing more activity, then this is the show for you. We take a look both at the differences between the regions of the villages as well as long-term trends, and we do this every week. So a couple of things I'd like you to note. First, make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. All of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service, the MLS. The Villages is unique in that it has two active real estate marketplaces, the VLS and the MLS. If you have a VLS broker, you will not be seeing MLS properties for sale. And if you have a normal MLS broker, you will not be seeing VLS properties for sale. Therefore, if you're a buyer, you really should have representation showing you properties on both markets. And if you're a seller, you need to decide on which market to list your property. If you watch this show, I think you'll see that if you're a buyer, we have the ability to analyze data to help you find a good deal. And if you're a seller, we have the ability to analyze data to maximize your asking price. If you're a buyer or a seller, please consider reaching out to me. I'll be happy to consult with you and advise you whether you decide to hire me or not. I would also ask that if you find this information valuable, please consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at interest rates, and we look at the yield on the US 10-year note. The 30-year mortgage most closely tracks this yield, and this week we're right around 3.9%. When I say this week, I mean Friday. Today is Labor Day. The markets were not open. We don't really have a print yet as to what this week will do, but we're looking at interest rates possibly resuming their upward trend here. I know that we focus on the villages, and most of you watching the show care about the villages, but I think it's important to take a look at what's happening nationwide. And currently, in the US as a whole, pending home sales are at their lowest level. The level of activity is even lower than it was during the worst of the pandemic. We'll see how long the villages can stay insulated from these national trends. So now let's focus on the villages itself, and I have a map which I'm going to zoom into, which is showing you every active listing on the MLS currently. First, I'm going to get you oriented as to where the villages is in Florida. We are in Central Florida, about an hour north of Orlando. The map that you're looking at is displaying all active listings on the MLS. The color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. The lighter, the more per square foot, the darker, the less per square foot, and the size of the circle indicates the size of the home. The larger the circle, the larger the home, smaller the circle, the smaller the home. And we're going to zoom in on Lake Sumter, and I'm going to switch back and forth between the same information, but one map is showing you properties with the price per square foot color coding, and the other is showing you just price. And you can see as we switch back and forth that looking at a dollar per square foot graphic gives you a much clearer view of where deals might be. So we'll start by taking a look at total listings, which this week have reached a new high of 480 total listings. Last week there were only 467. A year ago there were only 287. Looking at this graph, you can see that we have reached the worst levels for inventory over the last almost 3 years. Active listings in the villages currently range from 110,000 to just under 2,900,000, both of which are barely changed from the original asking price. Here's another graph that looks like it's turning down. This is the median list price for all active listings. This week, 258.41. Last week, 259.32. A year ago, it was 260. It's worth noting that this 258.41 is the second lowest number that we've seen so far. The lowest number was 257.89. We're barely above that now. Villages can be broken down into four separate geographic regions, and what you're looking at here are maps displaying all the active listings in each of these regions one by one. I'm going to start with the area that I'm calling the North, which is everything south of 42 and north of 466. There are 208 active listings in the North. The mid-north is everything that is south of 466 and also north of 466A, and there are 146 active listings. Keep in mind these graphs are showing you the size and the price per square foot. Now we come to the mid-south, which is everything south of 466A and north of 44. There are 59 active listings in this region. And finally, we come to the south, which is everything south of 44. There are 67 active listings in this region. It's unusual. We're starting to see more active listings in the south than the mid-south now. Here's the entirety of the villages again, all listings, and we're setting another record here. This is the median time on the market for all listings. This week, 63 days. The previous week, it was only 61 days. And a year ago, it was only 50 days. Keep in mind, seasonality indicates that the market will probably be slower through the end of the year. So before we take a look at the individual regions of the villages, let's take a look at the villages as a whole. This week, 480 listings, ranging in size from 828 square feet to 4,216 square feet. Prices this week in the villages range from 110,000 to just under 2.9 million, and price per square foot from a low of $65 a foot to as high as $776 a foot this week. So now we'll break down the four areas. If you remember, the north is everything south of 42 and north of 466. Homes in the north range in size from 840 square feet to 2,995. Price per square foot ranges from 104 to 448, and prices of homes in the north range from 120,000 to just over $1 million. This is the mid-north, everything south of 466 and north of 466A. 146 active listings this week, ranging in size from 1,090 to 4,216 square feet. Price per square foot ranging from $65 to $476 a foot. And the prices of homes in the mid-north ranging from 110,000 to $1.2 million this week. This is the Mid-South, everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. 59 active listings in this region, which is now the least active region of the four in the villages currently. Prices range from 280,000 to just under 2,900,000. Sizes of homes in the Mid-South on the MLS range from 1,156 to 3,875 square feet, and price per square foot in the Mid-South ranges from 195 to 776 a foot. And this is the South. This is everything south of Highway 44 on the MLS. 67 active listings. Sizes range from 828 square feet to 2,052 square feet. Prices range from 255,000 to just under 800,000, and on a per square foot basis in the South, prices range from 230 to 410 a foot. Due to popular request, we've added something new this week. We're going to show you where the homes at a particular price point are for sale. Currently, there are no homes in the villages that are less than $100,000. These are the homes that are between 100,000 and 200,000. They're number 9. The size of the circle on these graphs is exaggerated. There are 9 properties there, and when you look at the $200,000 to $300,000 price range, there are 82 homes for sale there. This is the $300,000 to $400,000 range, 184 homes. 400 to 500,000, 116 homes. These maps are showing you price per square foot, so as the price increases, you will see the color of these circles lighten because the price per square foot is going up as well. 500 to 600,000, these 43 homes. 600 to 700,000, there are these 17 homes. 700 to 800,000, 13 homes. 800 to 900, these 2 homes. 900 to 100,000, these 4 homes. And finally, these are the 10 homes on the MLS currently offered for over $1 million. Okay, now that we've looked at active listings, let's take a look at what has changed in the market over the last week, namely how many homes were newly listed and how many homes went pending. Last week, 42 new listings and 24 homes went pending. The previous week, 46 listings and 35 homes went pending. And a year ago, 27 new listings and 26 homes went pending. On this graph, the black line is homes going pending and the red line is new listings. It is a smooth 4-week average, but as you see the black line, which is pending home sales, plunge while the new listings continues to increase, you would think that sellers are going to start feeling more pressure here. This graph represents the difference between new listings and homes going pending. The blue line is representing the same number of new listings as homes going pending. Prints below that line indicate more new listings than homes going pending, and prints above the line indicate more homes going pending than being listed. Last week, there were 18 more new listings than homes going pending. The week before, only 11 more. A year ago, only 1 more. And as you look at this graph, you can see that we are at among the worst levels in terms of new listings versus pendings that we've seen over the last 2 years. So we'll take a quick look at the homes that went pending last week, and this was good news for sellers. Last week, homes went pending at a median 273.93 a foot, up dramatically from the 240.66 of the previous week and up dramatically from the 247.95 of a year ago. We'll have to wait and see if this is going to continue, but certainly last week's activity gave some hope to sellers. Which makes this graph surprising because this graph shows you the price change for the homes that went pending last week, and the reduction increased dramatically. Last week, the homes that went pending had a median change from their original list price of 6%. The previous week, only 4.5%, but a year ago, it was as high as 8%. So now let's look at sales. These are homes that closed last week. 38 closed compared to only 33 the week before, but this was still lower than the 40 that closed a year ago. Homes that closed last week ranged in price from 290,000, originally 310, a reduction of 6%. Most expensive home closing last week was 358, originally 365, which is a reduction of 2%. Here's the median price per square foot realized for the homes that closed last week, up to 242 from 236 the previous week, but this is still lower than the 246 a foot that the median home was closing at the same week a year ago. This graph is designed to give us some idea as to seasonality. We're looking at sales per week over the course of a year. The red line is 2024, the green line 2023, and the blue line at 2022. Sales this previous week, as I pointed out, jumped to 39. Last year it was 33, and in 2022 it was 40. And here's another new chart we've started keeping track of. This is how many weeks of inventory is represented by the MLS listings. We're just dividing inventory by sales. This week, 12.3 weeks of inventory. Last week, 14.2. But last year, it was only 7.2 weeks of inventory. So now let's return to all listings again, and this time we're looking at what percentage have reduced their asking price from the original list price. This week, 52.71% have. Last week, only 52.68% had. But a year ago, over 54% had. And here we look at what the median decrease is for all active listings on the MLS. This week, the median reduction is a 4.26% reduction. Last week, it was 4.28. A year ago, it was 4.6. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal in the villages, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through my website, DavidisinFlorida.com. And if you're a seller and you're trying to determine a reasonable price for your home, please consider consulting with us. We'll explain how we get to the number and give you confidence that you're asking the highest reasonable amount that you can. If you have any questions about life in Central Florida or life in the villages itself or real estate in the villages, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to answer any questions you have. I hope to hear from you. Take care.